People often ask, well, where did the development strip come from? I'm happy to share this wonderful story while staying with my teacher, Lama Denzan, in his remote Orlik home deep in the Sayan Mountains. So as I was a young and quite an incredibly energetic fellow, I just kept on pestering him, saying things like, Lama Denzan, please tell me something about yoga, which, well, surely must exist somewhere, the real, hardcore, authentic kind. And he would just laugh, every single time I asked him about it. And when we were in the village, it was drizzling, we were outside, and he says, all right, I'll show you some yoga now. I was like, oh, how wonderful. Yes, of course. So many years. So he says, look, this is a very important element of this yoga. I'm watching and I can't figure it out. Well, where exactly is the yoga? He says, you see, certain two boys, maybe 10, were guiding a herd of sheep up into the high mountains. I replied, yes, I see them clearly. He said, I just look at how they move. So I took a closer look. They were leaping from stone to stone with such grace and ease. And this is happening in the drizzling rain, and they are jumping over things really quite quickly. And I am thinking, wait, where is the yoga in all of this? I just see that, well, they are leading kids. Well, you need to take the whole herd up into the high mountains so they can graze. He asks me, what is your opinion? If they lacked that level of sensitivity, if they didn't possess such a keen sense of awareness, would they be capable of leaping from stone to stone with such incredible speed and ease? And it was at that moment that it began to dawn upon me that right there before my eyes, a specific exercise was being carried out, a truly integral exercise. And we are going to begin with an exercise for your attention, followed by an exercise for your clarity, and finally, an exercise for your coordination. All of this was entirely contained within a single, very ordinary, I would even go so far as to say simple action. And then Lama Denzan remarked on, it is not really what you do that truly matters, but rather how you choose to do it. If it is performed consciously, if it is performed with deep understanding, then it will, of course, have an effect that perfectly corresponds to that level of understanding. So, this story left a deep impression on me. After returning to Chernihiv, I spent a long time thinking about how to recreate mountains where there are none, and a mountain path where one had never existed. And so what you see here, this strip of development that has appeared, is actually our specific attempt to recreate these particular conditions where a high level of coordination, a sense of mindfulness, and great attentiveness are needed. That is the whole story. The full name is the Human Sensitivity Development Band. Why is this important, and what is this band for? For the development of human sensitivity. Why is this important? From our early childhood, through the long process of socialization, our upbringing, and our formal education, we are taught that boundaries exist, and we don't just become familiar with these boundaries. We perceive them as being completely immutable. And I believe this is a very important point. Ultimately, our boundary of perception narrows down to the limits of our body, plus or minus what's called the intimate zone, about 30, 40, or 50 centimeters around us. That's the boundary we think within. In accordance with this, other people eventually reveal themselves to be, and various phenomena ultimately manifest as. For us, at a certain distance, I am here, and he or she, the person I am communicating with, is there. In other words, I am the subject and there is the object, and there is always a distance between the subject and the object. And this distance is the direct result, I repeat, of this specific type of upbringing and education. And this distance is a very important factor that brings much disharmony into our lives. Why? Because on a physical level, we do not get close to one another. It is like when someone says, please do not even touch me. Emotions are elusive, don't you think? Mentally, abstract concepts, especially others' complex ideas, are hard to grasp. And this particular type of egocentrism begins to emerge, a very intense focus on one's own physical body, on one's own immediate space, my own personal space. Yeah, and this leads to a lot of problems. Children don't listen to their parents. Parents don't understand their children. Managers don't understand their subordinates. Subordinates don't understand their managers. And loved ones can't find common ground. And so on and so on and so on. I think it's clear what I'm talking about. To solve this problem, we have meticulously designed this specialized sensory development course. Essentially, any individual who enters this program and begins navigating these complex obstacles is compelled to actively engage, refine, and broaden their sensory awareness to encompass these vital elements. Because if you happen to just walk on them, they are inherently mobile, dynamic, and also static. It turns out that the more you try, now, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The harder you push against them, the less the equipment actually responds. And so there is quite simply a pressing necessity, a need that arises to broaden the scope of one's sphere of attention, to incorporate entirely new objects within that field, and to begin interacting with them. Interacting not just for show, not as prescribed by some rigid laws, nor as dictated by some bureaucratic regulations, but interacting in a truly authentic way, actively receiving feedback and adjusting your behavior in direct accordance with that feedback.
We all face stressful situations in our daily lives where we get worried about things, we think about them and we dwell on them. Our bodies start to tense up and tighten. There are also calm situations and there are truly joyful ones to experience. In a similar way, there are many different types of training equipment. Some are static and stable, others are designed to swing, and some involve various obstacles. By working through these various exercises, a person learns how to effectively process and react to the many situations they encounter in their daily life. And while you are maintaining a calm and steady state of deep relaxation, you must learn how to navigate and engage with all the equipment and the various obstacles while in this state, to interact with them, not to try to overcome, resist, or attempt to suppress them, to truly and fully interact with them. By learning to cultivate this state right here at the level of the body, the mind, and the emotions, a person is then able to carry this very state forward into every aspect of their daily life. And now, whether he is at home, at work, or with his family, whenever he is faced with a major obstacle or a difficult situation, he begins to react to it in a different way, with much more composure and a far more deliberate approach. He possesses the remarkable capacity to arrive at a solution to a difficult situation far more rapidly than others, all the while maintaining a deep sense of inner joy and a state of absolute calmness.
They say that to solve a complex problem, you need to rise above it. And here it would seem when someone walks across logs, they aren't just walking across logs, they're reevaluating their life. And in the end, they rise to a level much, much higher than just walking across logs. And life changes.
It's very important to understand why you're doing this. For example, I want to think less and act more. These training devices are great for practicing mindfulness and letting go of thoughts. You walk along the device, and if you start thinking about something, you begin to wobble. Soon you calm your mind and let those thoughts go. You start walking steadily and very quickly.
The athletes who came here would look and say, yeah, we get it, we've seen this a million times, we've trained in gyms and so on and so forth, which is very important. If everything really depended just on how much a person walks or their physical coordination, then all gymnasts would probably be enlightened by now and many times over, and very quickly at that.
On one hand, looking at this equipment, it might seem like walking across it is a breeze. I mean, you'd think it's just a pole, some supports, just get on and walk.
Many individuals who have traveled here and with whom I have had the chance to speak have come to realize that the moment they step onto these machines, that there is, in truth, absolutely nothing easy about the experience, because there exists a very specific sense of self. There's this mechanical apparatus, and there remains a very distinct distance between them. The main and primary objective of these training sessions is to ensure that we manage to reduce this particular distance until it is as small as it can possibly ever be.
As the simulator user realizes the fine, invisible line between their consciousness and the machine is blurring, They perform tasks more effectively and gain deeper experience, which helps them navigate these complex simulations with absolute ease, simplicity, and unwavering calm.
You must learn to feel, to communicate, to connect, and to broaden your perception, not in order to control, but in order to interact, not by following a rigid template, but by responding to the specific situation at hand.
This is precisely what we are focusing on learning here together. This is an incredibly important and fundamental skill to master. It means knowing how to be entirely appropriate in every single situation, at every given moment, and performing exactly the actions that will best help you reach your ultimate goal. Do you truly want to grow and become more effective in your life? Please come over here.
Pepper, I recommend everyone come here and try to blur the line between themselves and these wonderful machines. And tell me, who doesn't need this? I always ask that question. Do teachers need it? They sure do.
Do subordinates need it? They do. Do managers need it? They do.
Is it necessary for those in procurement? It is. Is it necessary for those in sales?
Is what? Do dogs need it?
It is necessary, you say. It is for our friends, for our girlfriends, for our fathers, our mothers, and our children. It is truly for everyone. We are all in communication. We are all communication, and we all communicate. Therefore, we all need to be able to do this in a way that feels completely natural and, quite frankly, entirely effortless, not by trying to exert control, but by knowing how to interact.
A phase of developing sensitivity. Sensitivity is something we are really lacking right now.